Good evening, good evening. Welcome everyone. I'm sorry I didn't put the notice out on Facebook today. I was a little bit tired, forgot, a little busy at work. So only the email, I think the email might have went out. I'm not even sure if the email went out. So
Mhm.
okay, it did, but good. So let's start off. I know Brandy, you said you want to go over inequalities. Tristan, you
Yes.
said you want to touch on some algebraic expressions, correct?
Hmm.
Let's start with the inequalities. So first of all, inequality is a little different from algebraic equations. Okay, inequalities have more than one result that makes it true. Okay, so when you look at this right here, it's also two different rules you want to keep in mind when you're solving the inequality. But when you solve an inequality, you solve it like you're solving an algebraic equation. So let me write this. Can everybody see my screen?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
so I'm gonna write this over here. So 84 is greater than minus 7 times the quantity b minus 9. So let me ask you, what should I do first? What should I do first?
Any one of us?
Yeah, it
Uh,
doesn't matter.
I think you bring down, you put the seven under the seven, but make it positive.
Nope.
Oh,
So what is that minus 7 outside of parentheses? What operation is that?
Subtraction?
negative,
No.
-7.
Nope.
You say
So th
out. Oh,
so this is the
subtract.
this is very important. Okay. What does that mean?
Multiply.
Okay. So if you have a minus 7 outside of parentheses, that also means multiplication. So
Mm.
when you are doing math, you have to know the order of operations. Okay. That's the order in which you do things. So if that minus 7 is outside of the parentheses, that means multiplication. So so let's look at our order of operations. So parentheses. So we do have parentheses, but there's nothing inside the parentheses we need to simplify. There are no exponents, but now we get to multiplication. Okay. So when you do order of operations, you should really look at MD and AS as the same thing. Why? Because multiplication and division are inverse operations. So now we don't have any division, we only have multiplication. So first what we need to do is when we see that minus 7 outside of that parentheses, you need to distribute that minus 7. That means I need to multiply that minus 7 by everything inside the parentheses. So I'm going to bring my 84 down, I'm going to bring my greater than sign down. They're going to stay the same. I'm not anything with those. What's minus 7 times b?
-7.
Nope. Negative 7 times b. So can negative 7 times b be negative 7?
No, it's just 7.
No,
So what is negative 7 times b?
+7.
Nope. Okay, so that's the first of all, that's so we're gonna have to rewind first because some important things that we're missing. Okay. So for example, if I say 3 times x, what's 3 times x?
3.
3.
So you're telling me 3
3x.
times x is 3? Is that even possible? So remember, so when we have multiplication, we doing here, we just putting these together. So 3 times x is 3x.
Right.
We don't know, it's an unknown, but we can't leave it out. If we leave it out and eliminate that variable, then we're not doing algebra at all. Okay. So anytime, for example, I don't care what it is, we can have 1/5 times x. All you're doing is putting them together. 1/5 x. Good.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Okay,
Gotcha.
that's very important. That's a common concept. So you got to understand the distributive property, but you also have to understand how you multiply what's called constants times variables. Okay. We also know that a variable times a variable. You're multiplying exponents with the same base. Don't see that exponent. That's a 1. You add those exponents. So x squared. So these are common rules. For example, x times y times z is just x, y, z. 2x times y is just 2xy. Everybody understand that?
Gotcha.
Okay, so that's very important. That's first of all. You have to understand algebraic principles first of all. So before you solving algebraic equations and solving inequalities, you should know how to. So let me write these down first. Okay, before you do algebraic equations and inequalities, you should know how to combine like terms. You should know how to multiply. We just did. Multiply and divide. You should be able to isolate a variable. Isolating a variable is just solving for that variable. So those are things that are important that you need to know. So as we solve this, see, you should also know, I should erase that because I have one more. You should also know how to do the distributive property. Okay, now, in this case, that's what we need to do next, the distributive property. So minus 7 times b is minus 7b. Okay, that means minus 7 times b. That's what that means. The next step is minus 7 times minus 9.
It's a positive 63.
Why? Because two negatives multiplied together
It's a positive.
gives you a positive 63. So remember, positive here, we just had that plus sign. So what I see, a lot of mistakes that I see people make is they say minus 7 times 9 is 63, and they just write that. Well, that's not a complete expression. So we need that plus sign. Can't forget that plus sign. So we got my 84 is greater than minus 7b plus 63. So again, how do we solve an algebraic equation? Well, it's very similar when we solve an inequality. The whole goal of algebra is to isolate the variable. We want to get the variable by itself. So if I look at this inequality, my variable is on the right side of the inequality. Does everybody understand that?
Yes.
Now, when we look at the right side, we have two terms. We have a minus 7b and we have a plus 63. Does everybody understand that?
Yes.
Yes.
So now if I want to get minus 7b by itself, that means I need to get rid of the term that doesn't have the b, or doesn't have the variable, which is the plus 63. What's the opposite of plus 63?
Minus 63.
Minus. So remember, when we're solving algebraic equations, we're solving inequalities, and you need to do the inverse operations to cancel them out. But you also got to remember both sides of the equation. So if you had a weight scale and you put 5 pounds on one side, it's going to be uneven. So think of an equation. If I add 5 pounds to this side, I got to add 5 pounds to this side for that equation
To balance out.
to be balanced. So if I subtract 63 on this side, I must also subtract 63 on this side.
Right.
So we can get 21 is greater than minus 7b. These two next steps are the biggest mistakes that people make when solving inequalities. First of all, in order to solve for b is still not by itself. So what we see is minus 7b, which is minus 7 times b. What is the opposite of multiplication?
Division.
Division. So I need to divide both sides by what?
-7.
-7. But when you are solving an inequality, when you're trying to isolate the variable, if you multiply or divide by a negative, you must switch to inequality. So 21 divided by -7 is what?
3.
Nope.
-3.
-3. Now, because we divided by -7, this inequality must switch.
Right.
Two -7s cancel because -7 divided by -7 is 1. Okay, so they cancel each other out. So all I'm left with is B times 1. Anything times 1 is itself. So I'm left with B. So now, Mr. Tenzer, we solved for B. We isolated the variable. We got all by itself. But inequalities, the last step is you want your variable on the left side. Okay. So what you're going to do is you're just going to switch the two values. But when you switch the two values, you must also switch the inequality one more time. So the final answer here will be B greater than -3. Okay, so that's what that means is -2 is greater, -1 is greater. So remember, greater goes to the right side, to the right when your number line. 0 is greater, 1 is greater. So all these are answers to solve this inequality. So if I put a 0 into this inequality, let's make sure it's true. 84 is greater than -7 times 0 minus 9. 84 is greater than -7 times -9. 84 is greater than 63. Is that true? Is 84 greater than 63?
Yes.
That's how you solve an inequality. So this question here basically will detail isolating the variable, the distributive property, combining like terms. Did I say isolated variable? I think I did. I'm solving a one-step equation, and then revert. What cases will you reverse the inequality? The first is if when isolating the variable, if you multiply or divide by a negative, you must change the inequality. And then the second way, or the second reason why you change the inequality, if your variable is on the right side. Okay, let's do one more example. We said 2. Okay, so right away, when you see that variable on the right side, you already know you're switching the inequality. Okay, since it's not negative. So listen to when I'm solving this problem. This is what I'm thinking right away. Already it's greater than or equal to, right? My variable's on the right side. There's no negative number. So I already know my inequality is going to switch. So anything with greater than can't be the answer. Right away. So I only got 2 answers. So now, okay, let me show you something. So because what happens is a lot of times algebraically we get too deep into trying to do it the right way. Understand what an inequality is. It means any answer less than 3. So I'm gonna pick 0. 0 is less than 3. Any number less than -3. I'm gonna pick -5. And I'm gonna plug those numbers in and see if they work. 27 is greater than or equal to 7 times 0 plus 6. 27 is greater than or equal to 0 plus 6. 27 is greater than 6. Guess what? It might be the answer. Might not be the answer because a number less than 3 could also be less than -3, correct? So here we plug them each in. But if I put a -3, I already know that any negative number, a positive number, is going to be greater than, right? So this is a issue where we can't just plug a number in and possibly get the answer because both of these may be true. So let's solve it algebraically. 27 is greater than 7b plus 6. What is my first step going to be? First of all, my variable's on what side?
You want to get rid of the 6?
No, hold on. My
Oh,
question is, my variable
It's
is on
on the
what
right.
side? It's on the right side. How many terms do I have on the right side? How many terms do I have on the right side?
Oh, you mean 7B and the
No,
plus
hold
the
on, hold
6?
on. Hold on.
Okay.
I need you to understand each step. So first of all, I'm looking
Okay.
at the right side of the inequality. How many terms do I have on the right side of this inequality?
2.
2. I have 2 terms. I have 7b and I have plus 6. Does everybody understand that?
Yes.
Okay, so so watch the next step. If I'm trying to get b by itself, what term should I get rid of next? So it's only 2 terms. It's 7b and plus 6. So if I need to get rid of plus 6, how do I get rid of plus 6? What's the opposite? Minus 6. Whatever I do on one side, I do on the other. So the same steps that I'm going through, this is what you should be doing at home. What side is my variable? How many terms do I have on that side? Okay, to isolate the variable to get by itself, I need to handle everything else that doesn't have that variable.
Right.
Okay, so whatever I do on one side, I do on the other. So now I got 21 is greater than or equal to 7b. You should be asking yourself, b is still not by itself. How can I get b by itself? B is being multiplied by 7. What's the opposite of multiplying by 7? Dividing by 7. So I get 3 greater than or equal to b because the 7's cancel out. Does everybody understand that?
Yep.
Am I done?
No.
No. So because why am I not done? On what side do I want my variable?
You want it on the left.
I want it on the left. So I'm going to put my b on the left, put my 3 on the right. And what do I
And
want to do with my inequality?
Switch it.
Switch it. It's your answer. And that's how you got to walk through inequalities. Now, you're going to have one or two explicit inequalities, and then you're probably going to have 1 or 2 that are in word problems. Okay? You have to be ready. So, for example, let me see one. See if I got one here. See if I got one here. And again, all of these take practice. So when you learn, so as you're doing it, talk yourself through it, walk yourself through it, let yourself hear yourself, walk through the process, let yourself see yourself, write it down, each step, don't skip any steps, then check your work when you're done. All right, let me see, let me hide this real quick. Okay, let's look at this. This is another example of a GED practice test. So right away, it's giving you a long, big old 4 or 5 sentence paragraph and then some possible answers. Again, you should be hearing me in your ear when you take this test. Identify your givens. Identify what you do. She has a budget of $13.25. She expects 26 people to attend the meeting. The cost of renting the meeting room is $270. Okay. So now what do you want to know? So we identified our givens. Now which inequality shows how to find the amount Annie can spend lunch for each person? First of all, what I'm going to ask you right now is what multiple choice answers can I get rid of right away?
The greater than.
The what?
Greater than.
Greater than. Because if you have a budget of $13.25, means you have to be less than or equal to $13.25 because that's all you have. So anything with greater than right away gets eliminated. So now, without even knowing how to do inequalities, you got a 50-50 chance to get this right. Now, what's going to change and what's not going to change?
What's not going to change is the meeting room cost. That's going to be
So the meeting room cost is not going to change. So I need you to understand. So this is a constant. No matter what the price is for lunch, because that's what X is. Spend on each person. That's what X is. No matter if you spend $10, $15, the room still costs you $270. So we know right away this has to be your answer. Why? Because 270 is going to be a constant. Here, you got a variable there. So depending upon what that number is going to be, that's going to change. So without even knowing how to do inequalities, you can solve this problem. Okay? So you have to be in the habit is identifying your given. What is given to you? Identifying what they want to know, and then eliminating multiple choice answers to get the best answer. Everybody understand that?
Yes.
See if you have any more. That was a percentage problem. That's a volume problem. Here's another one. Here's another one. Okay. Now understand that when they're giving you problems on the GD, it can fit in more than one area. So you can have a unit rate problem that's a slope problem. This is an algebraic expression, but it's an inequality. Why? Because there's less than, greater than. They have a less than in there. So but this is considered an algebraic expression. Okay, let's look at it. There are S steps. Remember, identify what they're given to you. So there are S steps from the pedestal to the head of the Statue of Liberty. The number of steps in the Washington Monument is 27 less than 6 times the number of steps in the Statue of Liberty. Oh my God. I don't know how to do this problem, Mr. Tiz. I'm lost already. No. What you have to do when you see a problem like that is know that S stands for the number of steps for the Statue of Liberty. So then when you so go to the second part, the number of steps in the Washington Monument is 27 less. What is less than? What operation is less than?
Minus.
Minus. So we know this is subtraction. Less than 6 times the number of steps in the Statue of Liberty. What is 6 times? That's easy.
That's multiplication.
Multiplication. 6 times the number of steps in the Statue of Liberty. Well, Statue of Liberty was S. 6S minus 27, right? Is the expression that represents the number of steps in the Washington Monument. 6S minus 27. This is considered an algebraic expression. This is not a hard problem, but you must be familiar with certain terms. That less than tells you subtraction. That 6 times tells you multiplication. Got me? So, Mr. Tinsley, well, how do I know the difference between B and C? Because 6 is still being multiplied in B, right? So the difference is you're looking for the quantity of. That's how you know you use parentheses of. Parentheses. You see the quantity of. So if it said 6 times the quantity of, then you're using parentheses. So you need those key terms. Everybody understand that?
Yes.
Okay, very good. All right, what's next? Who got another problem for me this evening? What's another problem we can work on? So we talked about inequalities. We talked about algebraic expressions. What else? What else have you been working on this week that I can help you with?
Multiply polynomials and factoring.
Multiplying what?
Polynomials and factoring.
And factor. Okay. All right. So a lot of people. So we said factoring and multiplying polynomials. I love it. I love it. I love it. So what we know about polynomials is that you must know the exponent. If you don't know the exponent, you can't multiply polynomials. Now, for the most part, and I'm going to make one up. I'm just going to make one up. So I'm going to say 6x minus y times 2x plus y. Oh my God, how do you do that? Remember, this is distributive property. Okay, you got to go start with the basics. So first of all, when you see those two expressions in parentheses, you know you have to multiply. So this is different than this. Okay? The top expression is multiplication. The bottom one is combining terms. Okay? So this bottom one here will be 8x because 6x plus 2x is 8x. Minus y plus y cancel each other out. Okay, so understand that in that first one, we are multiplying a binomial times a binomial. I thought you said polynomial, Mr. Tinsley. This is what you want to remember. So if you have something like this, again, we got to have the terminology. So if I have 5x times x minus 3, this is a monomial because it's one term. Mono means one. This is a binomial. Why? Because bi means two. When they use polynomial, all they mean is more than one. So it could be 2 terms, it could be 3 terms, it could be 4 terms, it could be 1,000 terms. So when you're multiplying polynomials, all you're doing especially for the GED, for most intents and purposes, you got to multiply binomials. This is the example I have here. So what am I going to do first? Can anybody tell me?
You want 6x times 2x?
6x times 2x. Remember, hold on, Mr. Tinsley. What did you say about these exponent rules? Because I know 6 times 12, because most people, when they see 6x times 2x, they put 12x. That is not the correct answer. 6 times 2. So 6x times 2x is 12x squared.
Mm-hmm.
Because x times x is the same as x to the first times x to the first. When you don't see an exponent on a variable, it is a 1 there. And we know by exponent rules, when multiplying exponents with the same base, we add the exponents. Everybody understand that?
Mm-hmm.
So we have 6x squared. Now, what's our next step? So 6x times 2x is 12x squared. What's our next step?
Oh, 6x times y.
6x times y, because you're multiplying that first term by everything in the second parentheses. What is 6x times y?
It's going to be 6xy.
6xy in alphabetical order.
Mm-hmm.
So highest degree first, then alphabetical order. Okay, what's next? So I multiply 6x by everything in the second parentheses. What's my next step?
Now you're going to...
Sharon, can you do me a favor? Can you turn that noise back down in your background? So what's my next step? So we multiply 6x by everything. What's next?
2.
Nope.
2x.
So look at the first parentheses. What's next in the first parentheses? Look at that first set of parentheses. We multiply 6x by everything in the second parentheses. Are we done with the first parentheses?
No.
No, you still have what?
Y.
Negative y. So we have to multiply negative y times 2x. What is negative y times 2x? What is negative y times 2x?
Negative 2xy.
Negative 2xy. Okay. Are we done?
Nope.
No, because we haven't multiplied everything in the first parentheses by everything in the second parentheses. That's why I'm drawing the arrows. Because listen to what I just did. A binomial times a binomial. Binomial means 2. 2 times 2 is what?
Oh,
4. That means I need to have 4 terms when I'm done. So what is minus y times y?
why?
Nope. What is y times y? I just did x times x. What's y times y?
It's negative y squared.
Negative y squared. So again, what has to happen is for you to understand algebraic expressions, for you to be able to do inequality, for you to be able to understand the do all these things in algebra, you must know some basics. Signed numbers, you must know. You must know a positive times a negative is a negative. You must know y times y is y squared. And that's how we got negative y squared. Okay, so these things, these answers to these questions, you should be popping off fast. If not, you need to go back and make sure you understand the distributive property. You need to make sure you understand combining like terms. You need to make sure you understand the exponent rule. Because if not, you're going to compound your frustration when you get to algebra. So now, combining like terms. Do you have any like terms?
Yeah, the 6x and the 2x.
The 6xy and the minus 2xy. So it's
2x.
not, so we got to make sure we can't forget those signs. It's 6xy and minus 2xy. So we're going to bring down our 12x squared. We're going to bring down our minus y squared. And since they are like terms, they both have the same variable. We look at the coefficients. What's 6 minus 2?
4.
4. So positive 4xy. This will be your final answer. Now, I can tell you right now, this is the answer they're going to have on the test. In algebra, your real answer should be highest degree first, alphabetical order. 12x squared minus y squared plus 4xy. That's how it should go. But on your GED, they probably going to show. Are these the same exact answers? Are these the same?
No.
How many people say yes? Are these the same answer?
Oh,
How many?
yeah, that's the
Got it
same.
in a different form. They just have it in a different form.
Not even a different form. They got a different order.
Order, yeah. Order
Remember,
two.
remember two things. Remember, math is you got to
Oh,
understand concepts. You have to understand terminology, right? Remember,
right.
social property tells us 3 plus 4 equal 4 plus 3. 3 times 4 is equal to 4 times 3. It does not matter the order that you put them in. So x squared plus 2x minus y squared is the same as x squared minus y squared plus 2x. It doesn't matter the order that you put them in. Everybody understand that?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, I got your message. So remember, try to limit your noise in the background, because when people go back and watch this video or going through this, they want to be able to hear what I'm saying or what their peers are saying. So if you could bring down the volume when you come onto these sessions in the evening, make sure your background is a little quiet. If not, you can just mute it. If not, I have to mute it. Okay. So again, practice, practice, practice. One thing you want to remember is that mastery, I consider mastery 80% above. But if you're doing 70, 75, 70, anything above 70, that's sufficient enough if you need to move to the next concept. But you should not be moving to the next concept, especially when 55% of the GED exam is algebra. So you got to make sure you know how to do sign numbers, combining like terms, the distributive property. You got to make sure you know how to multiply by numbers. You got to make sure you know your exponent rules. Okay. So one of the things you can do is, let me see if I got here. Let me see. One of the things you can always do, and let me show you something. Because a lot of times We get lost. We got so many videos. I got my Mondays. I got my sessions. Remember, we want to use Google and search in YouTube for what we can. So one of the things you can do is you can go to my YouTube channel and you can search the YouTube channel. You can search in Google. So for example, I'm going to show you both ways. Okay. I don't know why it is so slow. If you notice, you have a search up at the top for YouTube, but you also have a search on my channel. So if you search the channel, say you're looking for, I don't know, volume. It'll give you the videos containing volume. Okay, well, this is specifically for volume, but I went over it in a past GED math session. So let me click on here and I'm going to open this video. And one of the things that you can do is you check the comments because it's very important. Now, I don't do all the videos like this. I try to do them all, but sometimes I get tired and I forget, and then I forget. So, but look at this right here. See, this is one that doesn't have it. See, I got my chapter. So let me find one that has it. Try this. So most of them I try to put the chapters in. Let's see. Hopefully I got it in this. That one, the first one, I didn't have it. But when you see the comments, it's going to tell you what concepts we went over during that session. And if you hit the plus sign, make this bigger for you. Hit the plus sign. You can go specifically to a point in the video that's going to, so this video seems to be about quadratic equations, inequalities, distance between 2 points, and probability. So if I wanted to go specifically to inequalities, I can click on there and it's going to fast forward me to that point where I talk about inequalities. And my video was I don't know. But there you go. So as you're searching my YouTube channel, as you're going through, you can search my YouTube channel. You can look through the chapters to find out specifically what you need. But you can also do the same with Google. So for example, my name of my site is GED Math in 30 days. So GED Math in 30 days. Now say I'm looking for slope from a graph. It now will show me the videos. Here's my video, slope from a graph. If you sit now, but look what it also did. 9 key moments in this video. So I can click here and it's going to tell me how to do or what concept specifically slope from a graph. Identify positive and negative slope from left to right. Find a slope from an equation. Find a slope from an equation. Find a slope from 2 points. Find a slope from a graph. Rise over 1. Slope is the constant rate of change, positive slope. So again, it's going over specific things that you can fast forward to in that video. Okay, so I want you to make sure you understand how to navigate and how to use this the best you can. Now, as I went over, I think last week, 2 weeks ago, since I went over so many subscribers and so many views, you now can say thanks monetarily. So I had to bring that up. I don't know why it's so slow, but on my videos now, you should see you could see a thanks. So once you pass your exam, if you want to say thank you, Mr. Tinsley, $2, $3, $1, whatever you want to put in. Now on this one, it's not showing it because it's an older video, but on the newer videos, you will see a thanks on the video. Again,
She still has a TV on
you
live.
have Schoology that costs you nothing. You have the YouTube videos that cost nothing. You want to use them to your advantage. So as you're going over concept, use these resources as much as you can to make sure you understand that concept before you move on. Okay? All right, so what is next? What is next? So that's enough of me talking. What's next? What concept is next? What concept is next?
Circumference, Mr. Tinsley.
Circumference. Okay, what is circumference? Tell me what it is. I don't even know what it is. What is circumference? Can you tell me?
The shape of a circle.
Nope, not the shape of a circle. So again, remember I talked about terminology. Okay.
Is distance around the circle?
Yes. Basically, it's your perimeter. It's just it's a word for perimeter of a circle. So when you see circumference, that's just a perimeter of a circle. It's not hard. So let's find circle. Where are you? Where are you? Where are you? Perimeter, boom. Let's see what we got here. Let's do some CK12.
Okay, so we can go on this right here and practice the GED as well.
Not only can you have practice GED, you got specific math lessons. If you don't understand something, you got math lessons. I got about 14 practice GED exams. So here's an example of CK12 of circumference. So let's try that. Again, this is all the practice. I try to create a one-stop shop where you go and you can practice. I can see the feedback. You can take practice tests. The practice tests are half lengths and full lengths. So the full lengths are 40 to 50 questions of 2 hours. So you get used to timing yourself. My assessments, my quizzes, I time you. Why? Because it is good to know. This is the textbook. Okay. But we want practice problems. I thought I picked practice problems. I guess I did. Yeah, I picked online textbook lessons. So this is a textbook lessons of circumference. So if you want to see and know how to do circumference from an online textbook, I put it right here. And you can go ahead and you can highlight notes. You can watch videos. And in the lower right-hand side, you can actually take a quiz after you're done. Okay, look at that. It's giving you explanation. So this is the textbook. Here's a quiz. But if you just wanted to practice, you can go here. Again, I thought I picked practice, but I guess I didn't. So let me go in here and get practice again. I thought I picked practice. There we go. Online practice, CK12. Let me open that. Again, these are, I got Khan Academy and CK12. You can practice all you want. So when you want a concept, go hard. I got Schoology, CK12, and Khan Academy for practice. So let's look at some online practice. So you asked about, now look, area of a parallelogram, squares, rectangles, and trapezoid. Identify circle components. So do you have problems identifying with the radius and diameter? Use diameter, radius, and pi. Circumference, area of a circle, diameter or radius of a circle given circumference. Radius or diameter given area. Mr. Tinsley, that's a lot of practice. Look at the most missed question. Look at the most missed question. Look at this right here. Compute the area and circumference of circles. Find the radius or diameter of a circle when given the area or circumference. So one of the most missed questions I give you in Schoology. So let's go to circumference. Okay. Again, in the intro part, I'll show you how to. If you got a Gmail, you can sign up for CK12. You can sign up for Khan Academy just like that. So log in with your Google. You don't have to even remember a username or password. All you need is a Gmail account. Get access to CK12 and Khan Academy. So let's do some practice. Let's keep practicing. So right here, keep practice. Now, I apologize for my slow internet. I don't know what's going on. I pay too much money for my internet to be slow. It's really starting to upset me. So it really, really is. I pay a lot of money for my internet service. And all right, so let's go. Let's look. Again, I know how to do it, so I'm gonna close that. Find a diameter and radius of a circle the circumference of 84 pi. So most people would see this and say, oh my goodness, I don't know how to do it. You don't do that. When you see something that's giving you trouble, the first thing I need you to do is take 5 and say something positive. I know how I've been practicing the area and circumference of a circle. Identify what I know. Identify what's given. Circumference is 84 pi. What's my formula to find a circumference of a circle? I'm going to go to my formula. So C equal D times pi. They gave me the circumference. So 84 pi equal D times pi. If I divide both sides by pi, they cancel. My diameter is 84. That's one of the easiest questions on the GED exam. If they give you the circumference of a circle, you should know C equal D times pi. You should know that. And if they ask you to solve the diameter, all you're doing is dividing the circumference by 3.14. And it's one of the most missed questions on the GED exam. If my diameter is 84, what's my radius? If my diameter is 84,
It's half of that.
which is what?
You know.
You don't know what half of 84 is?
Yes, it's 42.
42. Stop playing. Now, okay, I'm going to ask you a question. I'm going to make this question a little bit harder. What if I said the diameter, what the circumference was 51 pi? So the diameter is 51. What's the radius?
The radius is 25.5.
25.5. So if you didn't know, the radius is half the diameter. Just throw it in your calculator. 51 divided by 2. Throw it in your calculator. Half of 50, 25. 1 over 2 is 0.5. Again, but these are the types of questions. And listen, you may think this was hard. If you do, that means you need to walk through step by step and keep practicing. Find the radius and circumference of a circle with that diameter of 6. So circumference equal D times pi. So the diameter is 6. So C equal 6 pi. Diameter 6. My radius is half of 6. Okay. But they're asking you in different ways. This is why you practice as much as you can. Check it. Go to the next problem. You clear the screen. And this is why I have Khan Academy. This is why I have CK12. This is why I've made my own assessments, because you can be given problems in different ways. A lot of times with adult education classes, they just have you solving for the circumference, solving for the area. But I just showed you. This is a document put out by GED. Most missed questions, top skills that test takers are missing. I just proved it to you. They the one put it out. If they put a document saying this is the most missed questions on the exam, you best to believe it's going to be on your exam. You got to be prepared. So so what you have to do is send me an email. If you I'll give you how to sign up for Schoology. And once you sign up for Schoology, the directions are in that. Remember, Schoology create a free math course for you to practice, take practice tests. Again, let me show you before we leave it at 6:51. So that's the last thing for today. But let me show you. If I
This
go
one
to
right here, Mr. Tinsley, I didn't mean to cut you off. That problem you just passed, and you clicked off of it. This one, yeah. Can we do this one real quick, please?
So tell me how to no. So now I showed you 2 problems. You walk me through it. Tell me what you should do. Because sometimes what happens is when I'm going over them, you understand it. But then when you go do it yourself, you get lost. identify your givens, identify your formulas, plug in, and then find out what do we know?
Circumference of the circle is 25.12 centimeters.
Okay. And what do they want to know?
They want to know the diameter of the circle.
Okay. What is the formula to find out the circumference of a circle if you have the diameter?
So when we do this, the circumference divided by pi.
No, hold on. What is the formula to
Okay.
find the circumference if you know the diameter?
Okay, equals C equals D divided by pi.
Nope.
Nope. C.
The radius.
D times pi. And this
D
is
times pi.
why
Okay.
on my website I have a QUIZIZZ for formulas. You should know C equal 2 pi r or D times pi for circumference. You should know the area of a circle is pi r squared. These formulas you should know. If you got now, you have your formula sheet. So you should know how to use them. But if you practice enough, you should be writing these formulas and doing these calculations where you know these formulas by the time you're ready to take your test. So C equal D times pi. Well, we're given that the circumference is 25.12 or 25 and 1200. Where am I going to put that? Am I putting that as D?
It's the circumference. You're going to put it as C.
I'm going to stop playing. I'm going to put it as C. So I'm going to rewrite the problem. 25.12 equal D times pi. Do we know what pi is?
3.14.
3.14. 25.12 equal D times 3.14. If I'm solving for D, what do I do to get D by itself?
You have to divide.
Divide by what?
Divide by 3.14.
3.14. What happens to the 3.14s on the right side?
They cancel out.
They cancel out. So I get D is equal to 25.12 divided by 3.14. What is D equal to? Somebody throw that in your calculator.
I did. It's 8.
8. So the diameter is 8. What if they ask us for the radius? What's the radius?
4.
4. So now listen to what this is what I show you in the ebook. I show you how to get the diameter. I show you how to get the radius. What if they ask for the area? How would I figure out the area? What is the formula for the area?
The area is 2 pi r squared.
Nope.
No, I'm wrong. Don't tell me. Don't tell me. Don't tell me. For it's rate is pi times radius squared.
And again, what you should notice tonight is that people don't know your formulas. So it means you need to practice. So that means identify your givens, write down your formula, plug in your values, solve for the unknown. It's the same steps all the time. So area equal pi r squared. Do I know what pi is?
3.14.
3.14. What's r?
R is 4.
4. What's 4 squared?
4 squared is 16.
Put 16 times 3.14 in your calculator.
It's going to give me 50.24.
50.24, right?
I've been doing that all night, yeah.
So again, your diameter, remember, is in centimeters. Your radius is in centimeters. Your area must be in centimeters squared.
Yes, centimeters.
Because your area is always in squares, whatever, square feet, square centimeters, square meters. These are the things as you practice, and I keep saying, math is about patterns. Start recognizing this. So if they give you a word problem and they say the capacity of this outdoor bin is 60 inches square. Well, you know they just gave you the area. So, and then you go to your formula sheet, area equal length times width. They're going to give you length or width, and then you got to find one of the unknowns. Again, this is why I practice. This is why I give. This is why I put Schoology on here. This is why I put Khan Academy on here. This is why practice makes perfect. And the only way you're going to pass this exam, even though I created this ebook and I give you a whole lot of shortcuts, you have to be ready for the different types of word problems they're going to give you. You got to practice, practice, practice. So the diameter is 8, the radius is 4, the area is 50.24 centimeters squared. Now, they only asked about diameter, Mr. Tennessee. I know. I solved all 3 because you know what they're going to ask you in the exam. They can say the circumference is 25.12 and ask you for the radius. They can ask you the circumference of a circle is 25.12 and ask for the area. So what I did was in the ebook, I went over all 3. So no matter what they give you, you're prepared. You have to be prepared. And the only way you're going to be prepared is to practice. You got to put the hard work in. It's no way I should see you one week doing 20 quizzes, the next week, 0. You should already know yourself better than anybody else. And if you know math is a struggle and you go 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 days a week, 2 weeks without doing math that you're going to forget it, then why are you not working every day? At least 30 minutes every single day. Math is the hardest exam to pass. 30 minutes to an hour every single day. Anything worth having takes sacrifice. So if you don't feel like studying, look at your son or daughter. If you don't feel like studying, look at your paycheck. If you don't feel like studying, look at the people who passed you in a promotion. If you don't like studying, look at your wall and you don't see a diploma. If you don't feel like studying, watch all the people that's in graduation next week. Put something next to you that's going to motivate you. So when you are feeling like you don't want to go continue to study, show that picture of your child. Show that picture of your friend holding a diploma and visualize you getting that promotion, getting that raise. Anything worth having takes sacrifice. That means time spent doing something else, it got to be cut. I just had a young man call me. He took his ASVAB, got in the Air Force. But he tried to pass the GED Math quiz 6 or 7 times until he finally passed. But I gave him the encouragement to know I want something better. And now he's going to the Air Force. You have to understand what motivates you, what is going to push you. If you're around people that's not motivating you to make you better, you need to find a new circle of friends, a new people to be around. I know math is hard. Listen to what I'm telling you. Since 2015, everybody has helped us pass this math exam. Now, I'm not saying everybody in my class. I'm not saying everybody that bought my book, because some people stop. But if you work at it, what I'm saying, you spend that 30 days going through the ebook, practicing that calculator. If you spend time on strategy for 30 minutes to 60 minutes a day practicing, I'm telling you, 30 days, 60 days, you can pass your exam. Had a young lady, she chimed in 2-3 weeks ago. I've been told her she was ready to take her exam, but she kept doubt, fear. Go take your exam. She took it and knocked it out the water. I'm going to give you the roadmap. I'm going to show you how to use the calculator. I'm giving you all the practice you need. You have to decide you want it. You have to decide what motivates you. You have to decide, visualize your next steps. Is it going to training school? Is it going to community college? Is it getting your 4-year degree? Is it getting your master's? Is it getting your PhD? Is it getting that new promotion? Is that applying for that new job? You got to visualize success first. And then you got to work hard. There's no substitution for it. There is no substitution for it. So again, that's 7 o'clock. I just wanted to say that. Again, I'm sorry that I didn't send it out, but I was a little tired today. But I did get good news today. Another student passed his math exam. So while I was getting logged on, seen his text, and he passed it, and I'll have that up soon. Passed his math exam. And his goal His goal, his next goal, is to be a police officer. He wants to be a state police officer. So these are the things that people, they're becoming nurses, they getting better jobs, they become a state police, all these things. Don't let this test stop you from attaining your dreams. Because once you get over this hump, you're going to prove to yourself, oh, I thought I couldn't do this. Oh, shoot, the world open now. This is something I thought I couldn't do. Now everything opens up. 2 of my students sent me texts. They start community college in September, sent me their rosters. Listen, I know you from being online in Zoom. You know how special that is to me when someone I know through a Zoom application that I haven't met in life is improving their life. You know how good that feels? You got to understand how good it feels. You got to want that feeling. You got to want to walk across that stage and receive that diploma. You got to apply. You got to want to apply for that new job. Put the hard work in. If you feel like you don't feel like studying, look at that, whatever motivates you. Get a picture of what motivates you. Put it on your phone. And every time you doubt yourself, every time you got fear, every time you don't feel like it, look at it and give yourself encouragement and go do it. And that's my last thing I'm going to say.
I have a question.
Yes.
Does it matter what you start at? Like
no.
which?
No.
Okay.
I've helped students get their GED math that started on K through 2 math level. He started at a K through 2 math level, kindergarten to 2nd grade. Now he started in February. He got his GED by November. Yes. Started on a K2 math level. Yes. Yes. Doesn't matter what level. Don't let the, I'm not, sometimes things get in your mind and tell you can't.
Yep.
What I'm telling you is there's nothing you can't do if you put your mind to it. There's nothing you can't do if you put your mind to it. Nothing. Nothing. Listen, that's the last thing I'm going to say. And I might get him to come to one of these meetings. I got a person I know, got his GED. He is now a neurosurgeon. Hold on, Mr. Tins. Are you serious? I know him personally. He went to get he didn't have his GED, went from GED to neurosurgeon. So I was going to get him to speak at the Philadelphia, Pennsylvania graduation, but the times didn't match up for him because he has surgeries. From GED to neurosurgeon. Wow. GED to community college. GED to nurse. GED to LPN. GED to RN. GED to IT professional. These are all within the last year people I've helped. Listen, don't let the devil get up in your head, let him speak to you that you can't do anything. You was introduced to me, this channel, my YouTube channel, this School G for a reason. You put the hard work, I'll make sure you pass. Now, on that note, I smell my wife's beautiful cooking, and I'm hungry. Everybody have a good night.
Bye-bye.
Somebody needed to hear that. That's why I took so long.
Yeah, me, because I'm sitting here saying they gonna take my test.
Look, so just focus. Well, so just focus on the GED math, right? And that's it.
Say that again.
So just focus on the GED math.
Well, what I would say is, what I would do is, first of all, when you take your practice test, your DG ready, right? Whatever your strongest suit is, take those tests first. So if you score highest in reading, take your reading so you knock down some of those tests first, so you can give yourself some encouragement. Because math, if you're not good at math, it might not take you 2 to 3 weeks, 4 weeks. It might take you longer than that.
Well, I did took the RLA twice, and like both times, I guess because I'm not used to taking